Hi, Dumelang. Guys, welcome back to my channel. Yo, it's been a while since I said that. I don't know, I'm finding it a little bit more difficult this time around to get back into YouTube. I think also because of the length of time that I haven't been so consistent when I was back home, not working, unemployed. Thank you, Mudimu. That is not my situation anymore. I am glad to be an employed girl again, to be back working, being in the space that I love, which it is to teach. Anyways, I didn't come on here to blab. I came here for a reason, which is to let you guys know that the EPIK applications are open. If you're still thinking about it, should I move to South Korea to teach? Should I not? This is your sign that, listen, you better make up your mind because it's time to start getting moving. Now, you don't have to wait until all your documents are ready in order for you to apply to the EPIK program. You can literally just go on the website and start the application. Your documents are only going to be needed later after you pass the interview and they tell you you've passed, we want to give you a placement, please send us your documents. That's only when you send your documents over to EPIK. But for now, you're welcome to go on the site and apply. I would say apply sooner rather than later. Guys, please don't try to be applying in May, June, July when it's almost time to start preparing your life to move. Apply now. It doesn't take you a month or 2 months or 3 months for you to put together a lesson plan and essays and go onto the website and click apply. It doesn't take you that long. It can roughly take you about 2 weeks. That's if you're going at a slow pace, just to put together the lesson plan and the essays. But if you're a person who's dedicated, you can do that within a few days and submit. So guys, please don't take forever because you're setting yourself up for disappointment. I'm really trying to push you guys so you can make it happen. I don't want anybody left behind or having any excuses. If there are some of you like, yo, Anna, I don't have the funds to be moving abroad, there are loans, there are credit cards, there's some agencies that I know that are not necessarily the bank, but some agencies that do give you a loan so you can move abroad if that's what you need to do. Or otherwise, find a way to make money. Start a side hustle. There was some guy that I follow on TikTok. He didn't have the funds to move over to South Korea. What did he do? Right in front of the Nando's, his competitor, but there he was every day going to sell so he can make money. There's another person that I know that they started online teaching, so that can fund them to eventually get the money that they need to move over to South Korea. So guys, please don't be sitting there saying, there's nothing I can do, I cannot chill it. Find a way. If this is what you really want, find a way. There are people out there that are willing to help. Talking about help, if you guys are wanting my assistance with the EPIK application, as you know, I started my own consultancy agency, which is Road to ESL, and I've helped a few of you already to be successful with the EPIK application form and to pass your interviews and whatnot. And I'm so happy for you guys. You're so excited to see what you do. Those of you that would like me to assist them, this is what you need to know. I cannot help everybody because this is time consuming. I literally take out my time to go through your lesson plan and your essays and I help you fix it. I can't do that for everybody, guys. So there is a limited amount of people that I will be helping with the EPIK application. So please get hold of me, even if you can just get your name on the list and start getting your documents together. You have enough time. Please don't try and get your documents together when we are in June, July, and now you have to pay more money so you can expedite things, and sometimes it's not possible. Please start now. Please. I don't know how to stress this enough. Please. Okay? Please. Then the other thing, EPIK has made a few changes to the EPIK application form, all right? And the changes that they have made is, 1, they have an AI and plagiarism detector. So if you were thinking to use AI, don't do it. You can use it as an outline or to give some sort of ideas, but make sure that whatever you've written down is now in your own words. That's important. And don't go copy somebody else's lesson plan on the internet and then paste it as your lesson plan. It's over plagiarism. So don't do that as well. So that's one of the changes. And then the other thing is, instead of you having to write 3 essays, you now have to write 6. Yes, You heard me correctly. That is 6 essays, but I promise it is not 400 words each. So the first one is 200 words, and then the rest are 80 words. I'm going to go through the EPIK application form now with you together. I did it this morning, so I just wanted to show you guys what it looks like. For those of you that are not familiar with it, you get to see what the EPIK application looks like. Then you'll see the lesson plan section and the essay section. All right. So yeah, let's get right into it. All right, so guys, once you have created your account, then click apply now, and it will take you to this page where you need to complete your personal information. So before we get into that, you need to first click which program are you applying to and how are you applying? You're applying directly, which gives you the EPIK option. This is you and going through EPIK directly. Then the MOU. These are just organizations that EPIK has an agreement with. You apply through them and then they then send the details to EPIK. Then you've got the agency option. Now the agencies, there are 2 that work directly with EPIK at the moment. That is Corvia Consulting and Korean Horizons. So you would apply with them. They then send your details to EPIK. And then the other program is EPIK Plus, which just places you in Jeju and Jeollanam province. All right, Jeollanam, if that's how you say it. All right, into your personal information. This, guys, is straightforward. I'm not going to go through it. It's your name, your date of birth, the visa type that you have to apply for, which is the E2, your sex. Are you married? Are you not married? The country that you're from. So all of this is basic information. You do need to also attach a digital photograph that is professional with a clear background, please. So important. Your contact information, the mailing address. So this is just your physical address and your emergency contact. Then we get into your education background. So guys, like I said, all of this is pretty straightforward. Your degrees, your primary school, high school, your TEFL certificate, your PGCE, your degree, all of that goes through here. Next, career stage. This is where you put in your job experiences, whether it's in the classroom or outside of the classroom. You will put all of that in this section. Again, it is pretty straightforward. The salary level, if you go on the EPIK website and you click under job description, it will give you the salary scale to determine how much you would get if you were to apply to EPIK. Next is the application information. Now you just decide where do you want to be placed, and also are you applying with somebody. Then you're going to upload your information, your 2 recommendation letters, and if you are currently on EPIK, your current contract, you consent and move on to the next stage. All right, so this is the additional personal information. So now they'll be asking you these yeses and nos question, also straightforward. Things like, have you ever terminated a teaching contract? Do you have piercings? Do you have tattoos? So these are just yeses, no, yes, no. Do you have allergies? Yes, no. Straightforward, guys. Yeses and nos, right? After that section, it goes into the self-medical assessment. They're now going to be asking information about your medical history, for your current medical profile, like do you currently have TB? Do you have high blood pressure, diabetes? So those sort of questions is what they will be asking you on here. So do answer them honestly, yeses or nos, okay? It is important. All right, then the next stage is, again, they just making you aware. FYI, do note that if you were to apply to EPIK, please note and be aware of these following things. Like you understand the air pollution in Korea, that you understand that under any emergencies or irregular situations like medical pandemics, you understand that you are responsible for the costs that will be associated with that. They then also notify you about the collection and use of your personal information. So these are just things that you have to select, that you have read and that you are aware of. Okay, and they do let you know that we are collecting your personal information. This is what it's going to be used for. Do you agree? So you just need to now agree to the terms and conditions in terms of the whole POPI Act and all of that, guys. So nothing major. So read through it, agree. Doesn't mean if you disagree, they won't proceed. You can still proceed with your application. Then we click proceed onto the next section of the application, which brings us to the lesson plans and the essays. So here it's saying, do you acknowledge that these essays and your lesson plan is written by yourself? And if they find that you've used AI or you've plagiarized, this will affect your application negatively, meaning you will be disqualified, right? Okay, personal essay 1. Answer both why you want to teach English, why you want to teach in South Korea, but also why EPIK. That's what you're writing about. Essay 2, describe your personality, okay? 3, describe your hobbies and what they say about you. 4, tell us about a teacher or a mentor who had a memorable impact on you. 5, what parts of your own culture could you introduce or include in a future English lesson? All right. So whether it's Ubuntu, humanities, or dancing, whatever, you write about that. 6.1, you just select any software that you've used, Google Slides, Google Documents, Word, PowerPoint, Canva, anything else. So anything that you've used digitally online, that's what you would select. Then it asks you to tell us about that software or that program that you've used to achieve an objective. When you're done, you proceed. All right? So that's all you need to do in that section, you guys. Make sure that you meet the word count. Lesson plan. Whew, yeah, this is where the challenging part, I believe, with the whole EPIK application. This is the time where it really needs you to think and you really need to apply yourself, okay? So the first section is the grade level. So you're going to select elementary, middle school, high school. Then the ability. Are they beginner, intermediate, or are they advanced? Okay, that is what you're selecting there. Then number of students, they've already selected that for you, 30. Lesson topic. So here, this is where you put in the topic of your lesson. When selecting the topic of your lesson, here's my suggestion. Think of topics that are conversational. So it's not just asking things like, do you like apples? Yes, I do. No, I don't. That's not really a wholesome conversation. Think of wholesome conversations, okay? So for example, a doctor's visit or a dentist visit or shopping at the supermarket or at the farmer's market or going to a concert or booking a concert to your favorite K-pop artist or to Justin Bieber or whatever, guys, right? Then, after you've chosen the lesson topic, it goes into the previous lesson. So here, if your previous topic is going to the doctor, is your lesson, what was your previous class? So maybe in the previous class, you taught them the different health conditions, talking about their health conditions. So in this section, for 150 words, you need to give them detail to your prior lesson. Show how your current lesson will expand on the prior lesson. So if your previous lesson was teaching them about different health conditions, so headache, stomach ache, runny nose, or whatever it is. In this lesson, they're actually going to the doctor. So they're going to go see the doctor. Now at the doctor, they're able to talk about their headache, their stomach ache, their runny nose. See how the two expand on one another? See how they're linked? That's the same thing that you need to do. For 150 words, you need to talk about your previous lesson. What was the topic? What were the expressions? What were the key vocabulary? What did the kids get up to in that lesson? All right? All right. Next, we're going to move on to the next section, which is the additional handouts. Now, this is for your current lesson, the lesson that you're planning for. What are the resources that you're going to be using in your lesson? Please don't write explanations and definitions of the things you're using or explain why you're using it. Just list it in bullet point what each of the resources are. If it's a PowerPoint presentation, write PowerPoint. If it's YouTube, YouTube. If it's a video, video. If it's flashcards, flashcards. If it's props. If it's, I don't know, fruits and vegetables, you write fruits, vegetables, whatever it is, but just list it in bullet point. All right? Next, the additional handouts. You need to attach something. So if your lesson plan, you have spoken about you using a worksheet or a PowerPoint presentation or flashcards, create a sample of that. Make that worksheet, make that PowerPoint presentation. You don't need to make all of them. Just choose one thing, make it, and then attach it to the section that says file upload. All right? The next section is objective. So here you need to talk about what are the objectives of your lesson. What is your objective by the end of your lesson? You want the students to be able to, and then you're just going to list the objectives. All right. So whatever objective you want to write down, make sure that it fits in with a sentence by the end of the class or by the end of this lesson, students will be able to blah, 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 blah. And you're going to fill that in over here. All right. Next section is your key expressions. Here you're going to list your expressions. Remember I said select a conversation that's wholesome, that can be had between two people. You now are going to write what those expressions are going to be between these two people. So if it is going to the doctor, maybe the doctor says, "Oh, hi, please come in. How can I help you today?" Or "What's wrong?" Maybe then the other person says, "Oh, doctor, I have a headache," or "I have a stomach ache. It just won't stop." Or my heart, it's paining. Whatever it is that you are speaking about. Maybe the doctor says, "Okay, how long has this been happening?" And then you say, "For 2 months or 2 weeks." And then he says, "Okay, please can you sit over here? Let me examine you." Right? This is a typical conversation that would happen with a doctor. That is your key expressions. All right? Great. Next section is your key vocabulary. Key vocabulary, these are the words that you're going to be teaching the students, specific words that they will use in their key expressions. So for example, when the doctor says, "Let me examine you," examine you is a specific word. You'll put examine as a key vocab. Maybe another vocab is, I have headache. Headache will be a specific word. Doctor will be a specific word. Patient, specific word. So these are the words that you will list in here. There's no need for you to give definitions or meanings or why it's important. You just list the key vocabulary words. Next section is now your introduction. So this would be the introduction of your lesson, which is the greetings and review. So here you are talking about greeting the students, but it's not just about you saying hello. You also now speak about how you're going to engage the kids into this lesson, okay? And also it's about you reviewing your previous class. So if the previous lesson was teaching them headache, stomach ache, right? Maybe you speak about how you're going to play that lesson's video. Maybe you had some really cool song and animations about different health conditions. You play that video to review those vocabularies or key expressions. And then after that, you then go into maybe you and the kids go over the key expressions where you will say the certain roles expressions and then the kids will say the other role. And this is how you guys review the key expressions. Or maybe you put up pictures of the images that you were teaching and they have to name it. Whatever it is you want to do. This is about you greeting the kids, how you start your lesson, and then also speak about how you reviewed the previous lesson. After this section, you move on to the development section, all right? Starts with presentation. This is you presenting the content to your kids. You're presenting the topic. You're presenting the key vocabulary and expressions. This is not the stage where the kids will be now role playing. No, this is you presenting it to them. You are introducing this new topic to your kids. So you need to explain what that's going to look like. Whether you're using video clips, song, flashcards, maybe you and the co-teacher doing a role play. This is where the kids get to see, oh, okay, that's what we're going to be learning today. Please try and write 300 words, okay? Get as close to 300 as you can. Then, after your presentation, we're then going into the practice stage. Practice. This is a stage where the kids now get to be working with your language. They need to get as much practice as they can, especially when you're learning a new language. You can't just hear it for the first time in the presentation stage and now all of a sudden you will be able to have a conversation outside with somebody. No, they need to get lots and lots of practice and repetition. So that's when you're going to speak about how are they going to be practicing your language. Maybe you create some sort of game or activity where they get to work with this language over and over and over again. So whatever it is you want them to be doing, you will write it in your practice stage. All right? Then, after your practice stage is your production stage, or the production stage. Production stage, this is where the kids will be now producing the language independently. So in practice, you had a game or an activity, they got aids, whether you aided them with flashcards or the key expressions are on the board, or you gave them slips of the key expressions, whatever it is you're giving them. They got help and assistance from you. Now, in the production stage, it's in the word production. They are producing the language on their own or more independently with little support from you. Be it maybe you have them doing a role play in pairs or in groups, okay? Maybe that's what they're doing in that section. Or maybe they're playing a board game where they now need to be saying these key expressions independently in pairs or whatever it is. You are going to talk about that in the production stage. So after your production stage, we are going into the conclusion. So the conclusion of your lesson. One, you're going to give EPIK a summary. So summarize what the kids got up to, but also talk about your closing. So summary and closing. Summarize what happened in your lesson, the lesson plan, summarize it. And then closing. How are you closing your lesson with your kids? Every time you close a lesson, you're first going to review. You're going to have a point where you're wrapping up the lesson. You are reviewing what they learned. You're going over the expressions and the key vocabulary again. As for how you're going to go over it, how you're going to review it, that's what you talk about in this section. All right? Then you close off the lesson. Okay? That's what this section is about. Summary and closing of your lesson. So you usually review and then you say goodbye. Next section is the evaluation of objectives. Remember in the beginning, we had said by the end of the lesson, students will be able to. Now you're going to talk about your evaluation. How are you going to evaluate that you've achieved these objectives? Maybe you'll talk about you will be observing them and through their participation, how they fluently say the expressions and the vocabulary, their pronunciation. This is how you'll be able to evaluate that you achieved your objectives, whatever your objectives were. So that's what you talk about in this section for 150 words. It doesn't have to be 150. It can be less. But 150 is your max. After your evaluation of objectives, you will be talking about the next class. So just like EPIK wanted to know what happened previously, and then you write your current lesson, they want to know the next lesson. What are you going to teach them tomorrow? So this is also another lesson that will expand or build up on this one. So you're going to give them a bit of information about the next lesson for 150 words. Here, I would suggest you writing 150 words because that's how you'll ensure you're giving them detail. They need to know what was the topic, the expressions, the vocabulary. They don't need to know all of the key expressions. Just list 1 or 2 or 3. And the vocabulary list a few of them, not all of them, because then you won't have room to tell them what the kids got up to or the objectives or whatever you choose to write in this section. I hope this makes sense, guys. So that would be your next lesson. After your next lesson, next class, you are now finished. All right. So that is the EPIK application form. Oh, one more thing before I go. There is a website that I would like to recommend to you guys. I believe it will be a good resource to you guys and assist you on your journey to moving to South Korea. So it is a website that was created by another fellow South African. So she moved to South Korea to teach and now she's back home, but she started a website where she has articles on things you should pack, things you should know, what to do, what not to do, the application process, the document process, the different sites that you can apply and agencies that you can apply through, all of that sort of information that's important on this journey of Anna, I want to teach abroad. This is all the types of information. This is all the different information that you would need. You can find on her website. So please do check her out. I will leave the details down below to her website. I'll also just give you guys like a screenshot over here so you guys can see what it looks like. But do check it out. It is helpful. I've had a look at it myself and I found some helpful information with moving to South Korea as a South African teacher, because it's coming from somebody who's been in your shoes, who's done what you are wanting to do. Anyways, guys, I will see you in the next video. Wherever you are, have a great day and a lovely weekend. Bye.
Thursday night at the same old spot, spending